see if my mic is working. Yeah. Pop, pop, pop. Alright, I think it's good. I'll be right back. Hey. Oh yeah, my bad. Let me trying to make this video real quick. Damn. Yeah. Making sure everything else look alright. There we go. Oh shit. Alright. The heck? Alright, that's better. Alright, yeah, but I started a little early, but hold on. Oh yeah, that's what I need to do. Give me a second. Bill O'Reilly. Fuck it, do it live. We'll just do it live. Alright, there we go. Oh yeah, we could probably stream on TikTok since I ain't banned no more, huh? They be banning me and shit every time I get on TikTok. That shit crazy. Not like banning me, I guess, but suspending me, I guess is a better word. Whatever. They be trying to discipline a motherfucker, basically. What the fuck just happened? Oh man. Oh nah, okay. I could just turn that off. Cool, yeah. I had it in a different mode, alright. You learn something new every day. I didn't even know I pressed that button though. Alright, whatever. A phantom button press, you know what I'm saying? Did I already make this shit? Alright, nope. Gotta wait for a second. Alright. Damn, it's done. Alright, I was gonna say, but never mind. No need to say what I was gonna say. Remix this shit a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna just send him the stems to this one. He could try to remix this shit. almost had a mental lapse. I almost forgot what I was trying to do. Alright. Damn. Oh wait, I did it, but I ain't putting no music behind it, so let me redo it. I forgot one step. Hold on. Got some shit though real quick. Right there. That's it. Yeah. Leave it like that. One more game, we're gonna post that shit. Delete the other one. Yeah, that shit better. Bang. Sheesh. Hold on. Wait. What? Hey, oh yeah, I'm finna, I almost forgot. I'm finna stream on TikTok too. Hold on. There we go. Damn. It don't look perfectly because, you know, fuck y'all. Damn, bro. Alright. Let me see. Where the other phone? Oh yeah, let's try not to get banned or suspended on TikTok again. Think we good, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna try not to get banned or suspended on TikTok. I'm gonna try to keep this shit PG. Oh. Alright. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. No promises. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I don't even know how it's gonna, you know, end up anyway. So how can I even promise that everything will be okay? You know what I mean? We're gonna find out together, probably, or not, you know? Damn. Oh, is this it? Yeah, this is probably it. What's up, y'all? What's up in the TikTok world? Oh yeah, it's right here. Oh, swipe that away. Wait. Oh, I'm on YouTube. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, let's watch this video real quick, y'all.
Huh?
Are we not allowed to feel that way?
I suppose you could feel that way, but don't you think it's a bit delusional?
Oh, they all think they tens.
Tens,
That's
huh?
what it is.
Really? Huh?
Are we not allowed to feel that way?
I suppose you could feel that way, but don't you think it's a bit delusional?
I don't
Think you're
it's
10?
delusional. I think we're just confident.
Yeah, I think confidence is a good thing to have, and we shouldn't belittle girls that or women, sorry, that are confident.
But it's not really
Funny.
confidence, is it? It's not really
What
about
else would it be?
confidence. Well, it's
It's a nice
It's,
AR right there.
you know what the confident thing would be to say, I acknowledge that I'm a 6. That's the confident thing.
What's up, y'all?
The delusional thing is to say I'm a 10. If you're not,
How'd they build this
no offense.
castle?
Listen, I'm not going to rate any of you. I think I'm like a 6 on a good like.
What do you
ish.
say? 6.9 or something?
I don't think there's any 10s here. No offense.
He said he don't think there are no 10s.
Maybe Kiki's the only
opinion.
10. I think
Everyone
Kiki's
has
a
their
10
opinion.
over there, but no
The
offense.
dog? Or
No one here's 4'11".
We're all allowed to
If she
our
was 4'11",
own
Brian,
opinions.
would she be a 10 if she was under 5 foot? Wasn't that the joke last time? You like girls under 5 foot?
Wait, what?
He does like a girls under 5 foot.
I think it was last.
Also, a
podcast.
10 to one person's not a 10 to another. Like,
Into
if you ask every male
oh.
what their ideal 10 is.
Well,
that's true.
here's
Or
a better
one woman.
question. Here's a better question. If you lined up, say, 100 men, what would they rate you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Usually, I get an above and an 8 if it ever gets brought up.
I think it ranges. So like if I were to be,
I'm trying not to get
if I
suspended on
100
TikTok. They
different
always
men,
suspend me, so
Yeah, they all have different.
try
there's
not
like
to
a
say
range
too
of,
much.
like some people say I'm a 5, some people could say I'm an 8 or a 9 or a 10,
Word.
which
It's a
also depends on
word.
preference.
Word. Look, I guess the issue that I have with the whole 10 thing is in the dating marketplace, if you have this assessment of yourself as like super physically attractive, then that's going to have an impact on who you're potentially going to partner with. So a lot of men in today's day and age are feeling zeroed out of the dating marketplace, and we know this because they've done research and studies. And, there's stats on this. There are more men who are not having sex. There are more men who are single. Actually, Eric, can you pull up? We don't have to pull up the infographic, but I think it's something like 60% of women between the ages of 18 to 29 are consider or view themselves as in relationships, and it's something like 20 or 30% of men in that same age demographic are in relationships. So what's happening there? Either that means that the women are dating older men, or what's more realistic
Uh-oh.
to me is you have women who are basically sharing the top tier of men. So you have a dude who will be dating 7
Or
chicks.
women are dating each other.
Huh?
Or women are dating each other.
Hell yeah, shout out to God.
Well, there's more
For the
gay
one
men than
time.
there are lesbian women.
Where's the stat on that,
Bisexual.
cowboy?
I'm
women
I'm
actually
pretty
there's
sure
a
there's
lot.
more gay men than
Heaven
there
is
are.
a
I don't know
paradise.
the
By
I
what
see.
statistic? By what measure?
I'm pretty sure that's I don't have the data in front of me, but I'm
Because
pretty sure it's
I'm
it's-
pretty sure that
I
there are
don't
more
know.
bisexual women than anyone else in the
bisexual
LGBT.
is different.
No, but
than
I'm
being
talking
But
gay
then they
and
would be
lesbian.
dating women, is what I'm saying. That they
But
are able to date
bisexual is
women.
different than lesbian.
But they would be dating another woman.
Hold on just a
South
sec.
donated $100. Young women
Thank
from
you.
the States are not respected
Oh.
anywhere. We fly them to have fun because they're that easy.
Oh.
I wonder if they are proud of their body counts,
Hmm.
renting themselves, and would they say what they do to people with pride?
Word. Thank you for the 100 donation, man. Appreciate it. That was our first TTS of the night. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Okay. Let's move on from the 1 to 10 thing because I'm not making
You right
any
about that, man.
friends on that side of the table. Okay, so, but here's the thing. If everyone's a 10, isn't everyone, just after I say that, if everyone's a 10, then nobody's a 10?
Right?
And also, isn't confidence is knowing you're not a 10 and being comfortable with it. Just saying.
But
Body
also, if
neutrality,
you're
baby.
Not a 10, then you're
Brian, you should get with the
insecure.
girl with the beret. She has a fiance. And she probably
guys definitely
fucking
vibe.
hates me.
I don't hate you. I think I can change you.
You think you can
I think I think I can fix you.
fix me? Huh?
What is,
It's funny.
That's a harsh word.
I think you're almost there.
What's that song by 12 Stones from like the 90s? I'm broken. Okay. Fucking, that was like the most fringe reference. Okay.
Yeah, you are definitely
All right.
over 30.
Oh, last thing about the 10. So just once again, show of
He
hands.
said
Who's
you
a
are
10?
definitely over 30.
10. Show of
Hit
hands.
me up in the
10.
DMs. I'm live on
Quick
YouTube.
question:
and
do any
Twitch.
of you want to
And on
revise your
TikTok.
answer? I have a bag of
People
makeup
trying to
remover.
invite me
Go
to the
ahead.
thing.
I don't wear
but
makeup normally. I will go full out, no,
No,
makeup
yeah.
right
Just
now.
saying.
Let's go.
Let's
Just
go.
saying.
No, I was actually
Give it to
gonna
me.
listen. That's so funny you just said that because
Just-
look,
Just saying.
this is
Got a little
literally
bag
what I
of
was
makeup
about to say.
remover
That's fine.
here.
Give it to me and I'll show you.
If any of you want to
Oh.
remove it,
he was gonna challenge him to remove their makeup. That's funny.
really quick, should body count matter?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Well, hold on. Let's start here, and then we'll go around. Go ahead.
I think saying if body count
Hey,
should
what up,
matter
Jay
is really
MMA?
stupid.
My
If you
boy.
value
What
body
up?
count,
What up?
I think it's probably indicative.
Erroneous.
I think if you say I don't want to sleep with someone who has slept with
That's
a lot of
good,
people,
man.
if you're not coming from the place of like I don't think that this like I think that this ruins your value, I think that that's wrong. But if you're saying, you know, this is indicative of someone who doesn't practice discernment, can't make you know, choices that would be good for themselves. I don't trust this person. That makes sense if someone wants a partner who they value and respect. And also,
What
even
she
if you know that
talking
you have
about?
retroactive jealousy problems. I don't want to sleep with someone who has as high a body count of mine, and I know that that's hypocritical, but it's because I know myself.
That's funny.
Okay. Should body count matter?
Heaven
I
is a
believe in
paradise.
like
What up?
energetic
What up?
hygiene, but I don't judge. So I think for myself that matters, but I think for others, I don't know if I'm not sleeping
What,
with you.
what is
I don't know.
energetic hygiene? What is that?
Or spiritual
Energetic
hygiene.
hygiene.
Sorry, I'm so
What is
tired.
Spiritual
is-
hygiene?
Yeah, yeah. I think when you
spiritual
have sex with
hygiene
somebody,
mean?
you energetically connect with
What
somebody.
the fuck are they
And I
talking
think,
about?
yeah.
Should body count matter?
No, for me personally, I think it's like in the past, and we all grow as we age, and I think
That's
that
funny.
you know whatever happens in the past is in the past, and I'm not going to judge you for your past.
I don't think it matters.
Based. Just kidding.
I don't think it really matters, but kind of with the hygiene, I mean, just practicing safe sex and,
Hygiene.
you know, like STDs and everything. But that could be a problem if somebody has, whether they've slept with 2 people or 200. So
Well,
just saying, it can be.
Yes.
it can be,
Be
but
the one person you had sex
I know
with.
you're gonna say it's less likely because of the numbers, but I'm just saying it also depends on the person.
well, sure. I suppose it's plausible that someone who slept with 200 people could be totally clean, and someone who slept with
100%.
one person, the first time they have sex,
100%.
got something. I mean,
know of cases like that.
yes,
for each,
but
so.
That
but
get
I mean,
pregnant
there's-
after the first person you had
Right.
sex with.
it's just a question of probability. The more sexual partners you have, the more you're just continually putting yourself in more risk. What about you?
At
Should body
risk.
count matter? Bro, you're like a mile away from the microphone. You gotta fucking get up on that microphone. dude.
Drink, take a shot.
Are they getting faded too?
I don't think she cares.
My turn. I think body count
Funny.
definitely matters. When I go to buy a new pair of shoes, I don't want an old, worn out pair of shoes. I want
Damn, he talking
new pair of
about
shoes. I
when he
think,
go buy a pair.
body count for most guys. When they hear a girl
That's
has a
funny.
10 plus, 20 plus body count, they look at her and they automatically know that girl isn't really trustworthy, or they look at
Damn.
that girl and they automatically start thinking negative things.
That's
Everyone wants like a wife, and they know if you have 10 plus, 20 plus body counts, you're more likely not a wife.
I'm a wife, and I
don't think that's true.
Yeah.
And you what?
and I have a pretty high body count, and I'm very trustworthy. So I think.
I think you
that-
said it's more likely.
What the?
Souths
Yeah, but I'm just
donated
saying that's
100.
one
Hold on.
person out of.
Hold on
Why
just a
is
sec.
feminists so masculine? I'm hating her all the way from Dubai because she seems a wannabe. And the way she's dressed up is all promiscuity, and women who spread legs and earn won't ever be respected.
Is that Soldier
Would you
Boy?
state your sex work proudly?
Yeah.
Why is the feminist so masculine? I do have a very dominant personality. Hating her all the way from Dubai. Oh no, a man in the Middle East hates a feminist. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? The way she's dressed is an L. Yeah, listen. I had very limited clothing when I went on this trip.
The dog is about
Yo.
to throw up. What the hell? Or
Oh,
he's
no, no,
barking
it's-
at her.
The dog was laughing at you.
Yeah, the dog is laughing at
I
me.
think it was a kid.
Oh, you thought
About to throw up.
you're saying the dog kind of like vomited in its mouth a little in
Yeah.
response to. Okay, got it.
That's
And
funny.
You can say it's because of whatever, but yeah.
Eric, hide that really quick. I gotta pull this one up. Okay, so we were talking about body. Wait, fuck. There was something on body count I wanted to touch
Madison
on.
had to give
Oh.
her opinion.
What?
Oh,
The last question.
should body count matter, Madison?
Oh, to me, yeah.
Simpsons
Yeah.
house. Oh shit.
Okay. So, some of you said body count shouldn't matter. Curious,
It's
what's your
real.
body count?
I think in the 20s.
In the 20s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we just gonna go through?
Yeah, into the mic, get close.
Under 10.
Under 10?
Does body
In the
count
20s.
matter?
I'm not gonna say it.
Wait, I thought you said body count shouldn't matter. It doesn't
I
matter.
mean, I'm not gonna say it though.
Posture check.
Damn.
Posture check. Posture check.
Give a range.
Give a range.
No.
You said she
Do I
ain't
have
even
to?
gonna give a range.
50.
If you don't give a range,
Plus?
most people are gonna think like
Whatever
50
you're-
plus probably.
whatever
So-
you're
Okay,
comfy
well, it's
with.
not that.
More than 10 or less than 10?
Above 10?
Okay. What about you?
I think it's a personal question. It's above 1.
Why are you mocking
Ah,
me?
Because you, bro, you were literally mocking me.
I literally just put my face in the back.
It was a bit of an eye roll. I copied your eye roll. What's wrong? Okay, go ahead.
I answered.
Sorry, I missed it.
I said I think it's a personal question, but it's above 1.
Okay.
Slay.
Bro, you gotta talk into the microphone, please. Just scoot your chair in.
Well, I'm probably gonna show Well, my this couch is our and first peace time out. on the podcast.
But
so, like, this is
yeah,
my
I
first
don't really
podcast,
care to
so
talk
I
about it
don't know.
or like say it.
What's that?
I don't care to say what mine is. It's like 15. Boom.
You
Okay.
don't have to say. Yeah, like me.
10.
They all lying. They all lying. 10, 8. They crazy. They be like, oh, body count don't matter. Body count don't matter. Then when it's time to answer, what's your body count? They'll be like, hold on, wait. I didn't know I was gonna have to answer that question that you were setting me up to answer. I think it's crazy. Whatever, you know? Hold on, give me a second, alright, y'all?
These are like, the cut trees. Can you see the artificial cut of those petrified trees, which we call precious gems and stones? Let me show you stuff. They're everywhere, not just in Arizona, but like lots of places in the world. And sphinx or pyramids, places you call mountains, where they're actually covered by dust and land and vegetation. So you can imagine there was no human activity at that time. Artificial cut, imagine what machines or what humanity has done that. And of course, these places
What
you
the-
call
Damn.
wonders of
back.
nature by tectonic plates moving. It's actually the remains of giant tectonic trees.
Tectonic plates.
Whether that's
moving.
like from a hand, from a time in the past, way bigger hand or not, I don't know. And then this in the middle of nowhere, it's the only rock. We call it a
Giants.
rock. What if it's not a rock, natural formation, but something else that has been
I
left
think that's
from
what
a
they
different
alluded
time.
to.
Big buildings. This is Los Angeles. As you can see, it's the same as everywhere in the world. We can ask the question, I wonder if this was there before our humanity, or is it our humanity, the ones that are responsible for building using this technology? This is the super technology of building big buildings with the donkeys and the horse and the wooden carts. If you don't accept that,
Building big
they call you a
buildings with
conspiracy
donkeys
theorist.
and
So,
horse.
more of Los Angeles, as you can see,
Wooden carts.
and dirt all around it. And now we go to Germany. Are these the places? But that's a magnetron, by the way. Are these places where you go to yell and scream because of your sins or not? Is it Germany as well? I'm going to show something about the German Empire. But is it correct to call it the German Empire? Remember, the lighthouses have no use on a spinning globe Earth with exterior curved water and gravity? Before I like to say something. Germany, many of these places destroyed, demolished, etc. So you decide what you want to believe about these buildings, which are the same architecture everywhere in the world. Lots of magnetrons and lots of places where you're supposed to go and yell and scream because of your sins, because they call them churches and cathedrals. Big buildings with always the domes. The domes are everywhere. Again, I'm not sure if the building in between is a place where you're supposed to go and yell and scream, or to listen to religious songs. Who built these buildings? I don't know. But then you see these type of pictures and photos with the big doors and as the entrance and all those decorations and ornaments, and something doesn't look right. It looks as if like there was a different human species before. This was like until Germany. Now we're in Boston in the United States of America. Again, I'm not sure if this is a place where you go to yell and scream for the sins. Boston, USA, very big building. Why is it the same as everywhere else? Now we go to North America to see the giant trees. Please a round of applause for the brave men who cut the trees. They're brave. The brave men who cut the trees in North America.
Cut down the trees.
The Titan trees. Well, these are the giant trees, because there was like Titan trees before. These are the type of trees probably still linked to what was the previous human species. I know. But a round of applause for what our humanity did. What was needed. I don't know the purpose of this building. Maybe it's for yelling and screaming in a different religion. Who knows? And these ruins in places like India and Asia, were they built by the British Empire? Were they built by the previous empires of Asians there? Or were they built by something else? I don't know. I'm just trying to understand. In China, why is like everything like so dirty? Like dirt road and mud around it. Doesn't make any sense. Then you have like these old photos, which like you see an old photo like this and like, oh, it's in the middle of nowhere. Well, we don't know what the buildings are for. These bells, were they built for the purpose of putting them in churches and cathedrals for yelling and screaming, or was the use of these bells something else? And were they built by a previous human species or not? I hope I'm not doing anything bad by saying the words yelling and screaming for your sins, because that's what you do in a building where you go to pray. So these buildings are amazing, gigantic, in the middle of the cities. Still don't know who built them. Trying to understand. Still don't know and understand how the ancient humans put tons of rock like this or like that. Of course, the spin of the Earth globe with curved water on the exterior at 1,000 miles per hour does not affect it. Doesn't affect what happened in Baalbek. Still don't understand how they built this, with what tools, and why they left it there in the middle of nowhere. You can actually see. But I mean, I know what the tools were, but if you take official history, I'm still struggling to understand if this is a real photo or if it's a green screen and it's just like edited in those days to make it look as if they're working on these buildings. They don't do this anymore today. Just like having lunch, like in the middle of, on top of that stuff, and you're not afraid of falling to your death. Who am I to say something? Buildings like these everywhere. So I wonder if they were left by a previous humanity. I wonder if these were electric motors and they stopped working, and once they stop working, they just attach a horse.
Put a horse.
Good to go. So
let's go, guys.
Some of these cathedrals, which are meant for, according to official history, to yell and scream for your sins, are very old. So I wonder if they were purpose for cathedrals or not. Why do you build huge buildings like these and you have to like sell them for money and nobody has money to buy them? Oh, I forgot, money is just an illusion, but we depend on it. Then more stuff. I wonder if this is a place where you're also supposed to go and yell and scream for religious purposes. I don't know what the purpose of this building is. Very big, very huge. Also a big huge building. Is it like a purpose of religion in a different place, like Asian place, which is the same purpose as the European place and American places? I don't know. Or like you see all the time these huge buildings. I wonder how much money they cost to maintain. And around them there's only dirt and mud and no civilization. Very sad. Triumphal arches and huge buildings behind. Still don't understand their purpose. If they have to do anything with magnetic or portals. Italy.
Portals.
It's like called was it built like in the Renaissance after the medieval ages for the purpose of yelling and screaming as well, or not? I don't know what the purpose of this building was. I mean, if it's a cathedral or a church, you're supposed to yell and scream inside as well. What part of history is real history and what part is created history for the purposes of the agenda? I don't know. All these insane hospitals and houses, then they were demolished afterwards. So why would the world have so many insane people in the 1800s? Did they build these buildings for the insane people just like that in the middle of nowhere with all the wars and the famine they had, and then they destroy the buildings? It doesn't make any sense. Too many questions, very uncomfortable questions. Why is the whole world full of these dome buildings everywhere, both for political and religious purposes, as they say? I don't know. So another cathedral, is this like a power station or is it a place where you yell and scream for your sins? I know. This is a bank, but that's the letters say bank. So is this how the banks were looking like? Because I'm going to show you afterwards, later on, a photo of a bank we have today. It looks so inferior and ugly compared to the banks of the other day. So I think they maybe did this because when you want to sign a loan to sell your life away because, debt, slavery, then you have to be inspired with the architecture. So I think that helps. This is a huge palace, castle, what do you want to call it? I wonder how much does it cost. Maybe they built them so big back in the day when they didn't have any money, because they were thinking of the 21st century when you have money and you have to save a lot of money to buy this stuff, and then you yell and scream because you don't have enough money to pay for the heat and the taxes and everything. So
I would think,
is this like a place where you yell and scream as well, or is it the power station? I don't know. In the middle of nowhere in Brazil. I wonder if this was built just for the expo and then demolished like that, or no. I don't know. Huge buildings. Still don't understand how is it possible for them to be there in the middle of the cities. And what was the purpose of all that? Look at the size of those block stones, and so perfectly cut. Maybe they were like just made like that, but what technology was used? Just more big buildings with like the surroundings full of dirt and mud. Doesn't make any sense to have such a big building and then in the nearabouts people have to walk on dirt. Very sad in a way. And then of course that's you built that in 6 months and then you demolish it because it's only plaster and wood. So that's what they say. Some of these magnetron buildings called cathedrals, you decide if it's a place where you go to yell and scream for your sins or not. I mean, you can accept everything you want from official history. This is like another photo. I wonder if like that stuff is also for yelling and screaming, or is it a power station? Just trying to understand. Then other purpose buildings, very white, some of them. I wonder if this was built with the hammer, by hand, so much perfection. Obviously this is Asian stuff. That's what they call it, but the humanity that was before, I still don't understand.
That's funny.
I wonder if this is a place to yell and scream, but in a different language, like Russian, or like in the countries where they speak with Slavic alphabet. Because Russia is isolated from the rest of the world right now, you can't send money there. I wonder if it's okay to speak about, to show ancient buildings from Russia and Ukraine and all the other places. Maybe it's not. Magnetron, very old buildings. So is this for the purpose of yelling and screaming as well or not? I don't know. I wonder why all the entrances and the windows and the doors are so big in these buildings and the domes, and then people outside, they look so tiny in the middle of nowhere. So what's the purpose of making the building so big in vertical mode? You're supposed to go inside and yell and scream as many as possible, and then you go like that with the magnetrons and lots of dome buildings. I wonder what these buildings are meant to be, because they use them for political or religious purposes, but I still don't understand. This in the middle of nowhere, what's the purpose? I don't know. And the empire, very white, that empire. I wonder if it's allowed to say the word white and Aryan. Then of course more buildings with domes and columns and like that. And I wonder if these drawings were just made for playing, like, to spend your time because you're so bored, or they were actually depicting giant humans living among normal humans like you and me. Who knows? I wonder if these buildings in New York and America were built by our human species or not. When I see, because when you see the buildings and you see the inside of some of these buildings, not these, but some of the buildings, and I feel so inferior when I look at the inside and I look at my height. The first expression that comes to my mind is human farming, but I think that's not. If I say that, people don't like it. Again, more big buildings with big entrances everywhere, and Pennsylvania Station has to be here because, it's Pennsylvania Station, never gets old. And big buildings, big windows, big entrances, big everything.
Yeah.
This is in the middle of nowhere. Well, not in the middle of nowhere because it's in the middle of the city, but it looks exactly like German and Russian, so it's in America. So I wonder if this was made for the purpose of going inside and praying for your sins or not. I'm just saying, I think of human farming all the time when I see this Matrix style, so depressing. But then again, this is our reality. This picture, this photo, when I always see like so many humans together, I feel that I'm not special because I see so many people, and I look at myself in the mirror and I tell myself, I speak with myself because I'm so bored all the time. What's your purpose in life? And I don't feel special when I see these photos. I have to go to a place like this and yell and scream. This is a bank. This is a bank of today. So I've shown you the bank from the previous humanity, right? Why were banks so beautiful back then and they're so ugly right now? I don't know. Maybe you can illuminate me. In the middle of nowhere, as in like in the middle between these buildings, and you have these columns. I don't know why they were built like that, so like in that way. So a building to yell and scream, maybe not power station. Don't speak about electromagnetism. These huge domes and everything else. And then I wonder why the Zeppelins were cast out.
I know. I was watching stuff about helium the other day. Helium is a pretty crazy substance that the government was very into until like Apollo 13 or whichever one of those landings. But, blah, blah, blah.
You're not allowed to use them anymore. I wonder if this one was flying while the Earth is a spinning globe Earth ball with curved water on the exterior of the sphere. This is Scotland and Glasgow. I just wanted to show you that it looks like a third world country. It's just a reality of the world that people lived back in the 1800s. This is Glasgow in the UK, in Scotland. Although, is it okay to say Scotland part of the UK? Is it pre or post Brexit? This is like pre-Brexit. So anyway, and then I want to show you this. It's very sad when you see this in Glasgow and then you see this in Glasgow. So is this like built? Why is this identical to the otother places in the world? And who built this? For what purposes? Is this a cathedral as well? Cathedrals are meant to pray for sins or not? Is this like an asylum, a palace? Insane place or what? Hey, big buildings with big domes everywhere. This is still Glasgow in Scotland, and still Glasgow in Scotland. It's identical to Germany and the United States and Australia and Canada and other places in Slavic speaking countries in Asia and South America. I wonder what humanity built this. Glasgow is supposed to be very different. And again, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed the photos and you can ask the questions you're not supposed to ask, but now that you have the pictures, it's much easier because the photo and the picture is worth more than 1,000 books and all your studies at school. So see you in the next video.
Damn. He was like, and all your studies at school. Hold on. I got some other shit too, though. Show the helium shit, but I'm gonna definitely finish listening to this.
Others perceive you to be.
Listen to this shit.
PowerPoint. There are several popular theories on why we are attracted to youth. The most widely accepted is that this is a biological instinct courtesy of our ancestors. Women who have youthful features are likely to be of childbearing age, considered a desirable state by men. Men who are young are perceived as more virile, considered as good protectors and providers by women for them and their children. Macmillan Audio presents Get Anyone to Do.
Yeah, hold on. This is what it's at. You can hear it on YouTube.
Anything. Never feel powerless.
Listen to this.
Macmillan Audio presents Get Anyone to Do Anything. Never feel powerless again, with psychological secrets to control and influence every situation. More detail throughout this book. but it has a very specific application here. Briefly, by pairing yourself with pleasurable stimuli, another person will begin to associate you with this feeling. Studies conclude that if, for instance, you were planning your vacation, you would associate those favorable feelings with whoever was around you at the time, and you would subsequently like the person more. Conversely, research in this area shows us that when you have a stomach ache, for instance, those around you become unconscious victims of circumstance, and you tend to like them less. Of course, there's more to liking than just this pairing of pleasant stimuli with a person, but it can generate powerful feelings, either good or bad, toward you. So if you want to be liked by a person, try talking to him when he is in a good mood or excited about something. These feelings are anchored and associated with you, and this person will then come to have positive feelings toward you. PowerPoint.
Oh, I haven't played this map
Sometimes
in a while.
it's easy to tell if a person's in a good mood, but if you're not sure, look
This
at
one
his
did the
face.
same thing, man.
If he's in a good mood, he'll likely greet you with a full smile,
This one said PowerPoint too.
eyes wide open.
Like
If he greets you with a partial lips-only smile, one that does not involve his whole face, then this is a forced courtesy smile, and usually reflects a person who is not in a good mood. Eye contact is a strong indicator of mood. When we are in a good mood, we tend to make more direct eye contact. Conversely, when we're in a bad mood, we tend to look down or away from the person we're speaking to. 2. Repeat exposure. The old adage, familiarity breeds contempt, is commonly accepted, but interestingly enough, it's not true. In reality, it's the opposite. Numerous studies conclude that the more you interact with someone, the more he or she will like you. According to Moreland and Zajon, 1982, repeated exposure to any stimulus, in this case a person, leads to a greater appreciation and liking as long as the initial reaction is not negative. This is true of anything, a person, a place, or even a product. The greater the exposure, the more positive the response. This is why companies sometimes advertise just a picture of a product or its name without any specific features or benefits of using the product. They don't need to tell us how wonderful it is, only remind us of it. Exposure, being an obvious component of repetition, can alone increase sales or votes, which is why advertisers and politicians exploit this phenomenon. This factor of human behavior is so powerful that studies show that even a letter in the alphabet that also appears in our name is perceived as more attractive than a letter that is not in our name. By simply being around more, you will actually grow on this person. Sometimes we make the mistake of trying to appear mysterious, aloof, or unavailable to someone, but in doing so, we diminish our number of interactions. Studies conclude that we become friends with, and tend to like more, those who are physically nearest to us because of this increased level of interaction. By the way, you don't have to worry about enacting the law of scarcity unless you want this person to be attracted to you. That is because the basis of liking follows a different paradigm than for attraction. We will learn more about that law in this section. 3. Reciprocal affection. Countless studies and common sense have established that we tend to like more those who like us. When we find out that someone thinks well of us, we in turn are unconsciously driven to find him or her more likable as well. Therefore, you want to let your target person know that you like and respect him, if indeed you do. PowerPoint. What if he really doesn't like me at all? Oddly enough, studies conclude that if he started out not liking you and gradually came around to liking you, he will eventually like you more than if he had liked you right from the beginning. Keep in mind, if you don't have a great relationship with him, don't do a 180, suddenly making this person your best friend. Studies show us that gradual liking is infinitely more effective than instantly becoming someone's best friend. So don't be overwhelming and out of the blue his #1 fan. To engage the law of reciprocal affection gradually, let it be known that you are fond of this person. 4. Similarities. It is not true that opposites attract. We actually like more those people who are similar to us and who have similar interests. We may find someone interesting because of how different he is from us, but it's the similarities and commonalities that generate mutual liking. Like attracts like. When you speak to this person, talk about what you both enjoy and what you have in common. Similar to this law is the principle of comrades in arms. Essentially, people who go through life-changing situations together tend to create a significant bond. For instance, soldiers in battle, or those in fraternity pledge classes, who get hazed together, usually develop strong friendships. This is also a powerful bonding method, even if the experience was not shared, but similarly experienced. It's for this reason that two people who have never met, but who have shared a similar previous experience, whether it's an illness or winning the lottery, can become instant friends. It is the "she understands me" perspective that generates these warm feelings for another who has had a similar experience. It all comes down to the fact that we all want to be understood, and this powerful event has likely helped to shape the person into who she is today. Hence, this other person knows and understands what she is all about. 5. How you make her feel. How someone feels about you is greatly determined by how you make her feel about herself. You can spend all day trying to get her to like you and to think well of you, but it's how you make her feel when she is around you that makes the difference. Have you ever noticed how nice it is to be around someone who is complimentary and sincerely kind and warm? Conversely, have you ever thought about how annoying it is to spend 5 minutes with the person who's always finding fault with everything and everyone? These people seem to drain the life right out of you. Being the person who makes people feel good will go a long way toward their finding you quite likable. 6. Rapport. Rapport creates trust, allowing you to build a psychological bridge to someone. The conversation is likely to be more positive and comfortable when two people are in sync with each other. Just as we tend to like someone who shares our interests, we are also unconsciously driven to like a person when she appears as we do. This means that when someone makes gestures the way we do, or uses words or phrases as we do, we tend to find him likable. More on rapport-building skills is discussed throughout various chapters in the book. For now, 2 powerful tips for establishing and building rapport are matching posture and movements. For instance, if someone has one hand in his pocket, you put your hand in yours. If he makes a gesture with his hand, after a moment, and without being obvious, you casually make the same gesture. Matching speech. Try to match his rate of speech. If he's speaking in a slow, relaxed tone, you do the same. If he's speaking quickly, then you begin to speak more rapidly. 7. Helping her out. Studies in human nature show us that people dislike others more after doing them harm. Please note that I did not say that we do harm to those whom we dislike, although this may be true. The point here is that when we do harm to another, either on purpose or by accident, we are unconsciously driven to dislike the person. This is an attempt to reduce dissonance. Cognitive dissonance theory, as it applies here, states that we feel uneasy when we do something that is inconsistent with how we see ourselves. Therefore, to reduce this inner conflict, we rationalize our actions to remain consistent with our self-concept. The internal conflict created is, why did I do this to this person? The rationalization then becomes, must be because I really don't like him and he deserves it. Otherwise, I would be a bad or careless person, and that cannot be so. This works in reverse as well. We like someone more after doing something nice for him or her. If we do someone a favor, we are likely to have positive feelings toward that person. If you can get him to do you a small favor, this will generate kind and warm feelings toward you. Often, in our attempt to get someone to like us, we make the mistake of doing nice things for him. And while he may appreciate your kindness and think you're a nice person, it doesn't make him like you more, even though you may be viewed as more likable. What you want is for him to have kind feelings toward
Damn,
you,
he blew
not to
himself
just
up.
believe that you are a kind
shit,
person.
who's shooting at me?
This is
Oh, I
accomplished
ain't
by
see
him
Damn.
doing for you, not by you doing for him. 8. He's only human. Seeing someone you admire do something stupid or clumsy will make you like him more. Aronson, Williman, and Floyd, 1966. Contrary to popular belief, being a perfect, confident figure will not produce the desired outcome, meaning that it rarely leads to your being liked more and thought of in a positive way. When you want to be seen as more likable, do something embarrassing and smile at yourself. Don't try to ignore it or pretend it didn't happen. Self-deprecating humor is a terrific way to ingratiate yourself with anyone.
Damn, we get
When you show
killed.
others that you don't take yourself so seriously, it makes them feel closer to you and want to be around you. Nobody likes a show-off or a person who is so consumed with himself and his image that he needs to pretend that he is perfect. We tend to like and gravitate towards those who are not self-absorbed and egotistical. Showing that you can laugh at yourself makes you infinitely more approachable and likable. This is often at odds with what we think we should do. In our attempt to appear as cool and important, others perceive us as taking ourselves too seriously, and this air of false confidence can be quite unbecoming. This aspect of human nature confuses many people because the fact is that we do like confident people. We're drawn to and like those who are self-assured. But we know that a person who is confident doesn't feel the need to let the world know how great he is. He lets the world find out for itself. So the bragging, arrogant person is really a person who feels small inside. And we are often instinctively uninterested and unattracted to this person. The one who is confident and secure is the one who is apt to laugh at his own mistakes and is not afraid to let people know that he is human. So you see, they are not at conflict with one another. Not taking ourselves so seriously and acknowledging our faults and mistakes shows the world that we are confident. 9. Positive attitude. As we talked about before, we like people who are similar to us. But there is one exception to this rule. Nobody wants to be around a moody, often pissed off, pessimistic person. We all seek, like, and admire those who have a positive, happy outlook and perspective on life.
He got his
Why?
shit.
Because that is what we all want.
Got him too. Ooh.
And seeing this desirable spirit in others makes us like them more. You may know a person, or may even be someone, who finds annoying those who wake up smiling and in a good mood. The fact is, though, at some level, we are drawn to that attitude and to that person.
Holy shit.
Think of the people in your
Where
life
was
who
he?
you really can't stand to be around.
That's crazy.
Chances are they are always complaining about something, always annoyed with somebody, always finding fault with everything. Like confidence, a positive attitude toward life will help to turn you into a superhuman magnet for attracting people and getting anyone to like you. But wait a minute. Doesn't misery love company? Actually, it does. Miserable people like to be around others who are just as annoyed with life as they are. But this quality does not make them like these people more. Someone who feels miserable enjoys commiserating and complaining with another miserable individual, but the minute he's in a good mood, he will abandon the toxic, annoying person. He seeks solace with somebody who feels as he does, but when he no longer feels that way, he will instantly leave this relationship.
Of course,
This is
somebody
because he
seen me
never liked the person,
land.
or at least not for this similarity. He enjoyed only the shared attitude. Strategy review. Be around the person as much as you can because familiarity breeds fondness, not contempt.
Oh, my
When you
shit
speak
was
with
all
him,
tripping.
try to do it when he's in a good mood to enact the law of association. Talk about common interests or experiences that you share and try to do more of the listening and less of the talking. To enact the law of reciprocal affection, if you respect or admire him for something, make sure that he knows this. Let him do a simple favor for you, but make sure that it's not out of a sense of obligation. This creates an unconscious motivation to like you more.
Yeah,
Build
I
a
got you.
psychological bridge
That's
and
why I blew up
establish
the wall.
rapport by matching the person's gestures, rate of speech, and vocal patterns. We are drawn to confident people. Show your confidence by being able to laugh at yourself and not taking yourself too seriously. Make her feel good about herself. Be someone who is complimentary and sincerely kind and warm. Have a positive mental attitude. We are drawn to people who are excited, passionate, and happy about life and being alive. Listen to Chapter 2. Get anyone to find you irresistibly attractive, because we tend to like more those whom we find attractive, same sex or not. Chapter 2. Get anyone to find you irresistibly attractive.
Get back to that in a second. Let me see something else. Actually, because I do want to hear that part, but let me see what else we got real quick. JMMA, I see you in the chat, dude. Hey. Alright. Yeah, give me like a few seconds. Actually, this beat is banging though. I don't know what this is. This is Battlefield music, but this shit fire. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
While we all have different physical preferences, these tactics will greatly help you to maximize your assets and, in most cases, override another person's basic idea of what he finds attractive. How can this be done? Have you ever dated someone who was not even close to your type? Why'd you do it? Because he or she enacted these laws. Most likely unwittingly, and you found that person simply irresistible. If you want to be appealing to anyone, use the techniques in the previous chapter and then move on to those in this chapter for maximum success. Numerous studies, as well as real life, show us that the more we like someone, the more attractive we tend to find him or her. Although the following tactics are especially designed for romantic interest, it should be said that we rarely find attractive those whom we do not like. So, fold into your game plan the tactics in the preceding chapter to give you an unstoppable overall strategy. 1. Emotion arousal. This single tactic will be responsible for getting you more dates than any hairstyle or outfit or high-powered job ever will. It is a foundation of human behavior that when our body produces adrenaline, feelings of attraction to those present and sexual desire often result. Adrenaline, produced through any state of heightened arousal, fear, excitement, exercise, or whatever, generates and intensifies passionate feelings. This assumes that attraction exists in some form, at some level. Anytime a person is aroused, such as with scary movies, amusement park rides, or even physical exercise, his arousal will in part be attributed to whomever he is with. In effect, there is a transference of state where the excitement he feels gets unconsciously translated into sexual desire and arousal. The next time you see a couple who appears to be aesthetically mismatched, ask where they met. Chances are good that they met under circumstances where arousal was high, maybe at the gym, or while one person, the better looking of the two, was apprehensive, nervous, or excited about something. PowerPoint. It's for this very fact that psychologists are becoming increasingly disturbed by the trend in video games, movies, and television of associating violence and sex. The pairing of these two stimuli, sexual content and violence, can generate enhanced arousal toward violence and aggressive tendencies in sexual encounters. 2. Walking styles. Youth is often deemed to be a factor of physical attractiveness. But the good news is that you don't necessarily have to look young, but merely appear young. Even something as seemingly innocuous as posture and how a person walks plays a powerful role in how youthful we judge him. Walking styles definitely influence physical attractiveness. People react more favorably to those whose walking style seems youthful than to those who seem elderly, regardless of the actual age or sex. Montpere and Zebrowitz MacArthur, 1988. What exactly determines youthful posture and gait? Flexibility. Observe a small child and note how flexible she is in comparison to an elderly person. Yoga will greatly improve your flexibility and will make a dramatic difference in your overall posture, walking style, and how attractive others perceive you to be. PowerPoint.
Damn.
There are several popular theories on why we are attracted to youth. The most widely accepted is that this is a biological instinct courtesy of our ancestors. Women who have youthful features are likely to be of childbearing age, considered a desirable state by men. Men who are young are perceived as more virile, considered as good protectors and providers by women for them and their children.
Makes sense.
3. Gazing into a person's eyes. Did you know that gazing into a person's eyes can actually make the individual fall in love with you? That's the conclusion of numerous studies on attraction and romantic love. In one particular experiment, 2 opposite-sex strangers were asked to gaze into each other's eyes for 2 minutes. This study concluded that the act of simply looking into another's eyes for only a few moments was enough for them to produce passionate feelings for each other. Kellerman, Lewis, and Laird, 1989. To make use of this tactic when you have a conversation with this person, look him directly in the eyes when speaking and listening. Most of the time we sort of gaze generally at a person's face or divert our glance when in conversation. By looking into his eyes while speaking with him, you engage this psychological phenomenon without being obvious. 4. The law of contrast and association. When you want someone to find you attractive, your best bet is to meet this person initially by yourself or with you being accompanied by an attractive person of the opposite sex. This is because of the law of contrast and the law of association. We don't often judge a person by herself, but in contrast with other people. This is intensified when it comes to meeting someone for the first time. We see and think of her physical attributes in comparison to those she is with. There have been many studies in this area, including some that confirm that men who have recently been looking at bathing suit models find other women, or even their own wives, less attractive.
Damn.
Herein lies one of the biggest mistakes we often make. Before someone has a chance to know the real you and to be influenced by these other tactics, your physical beauty is the first thing you're judged by. So put the odds in your favor. Do not, I repeat, do not find yourself in the company of those who are more attractive than you, of the same sex, when you want someone to become interested in you.
All right.
When meeting this person,
common
generally
sense.
for the first time only, try also not to be in the company of terribly unattractive people of either sex. This is because of the law of association, where we tend to see a group as a whole and not the individuals. Therefore, again, your best approach is to be by yourself or with an attractive person of the opposite sex. This will also afford you the opportunity to use your other tactics without distraction. The reason you can be with an attractive person of the opposite sex is that the law of association takes precedence over the law of contrast when the members of the group are more different than they are similar.
Is a pilot.
In other words, your attractiveness is enhanced by this person because you are seen as one unit. 5. Self-esteem and attraction. This is a tactic to use if your own beauty is limited, as it will allow you to be seen initially as much more attractive than you might otherwise appear. A study by Elaine Walster Hatfield showed that a woman who is introduced to a man will find him more appealing if her self-esteem has been temporarily injured than a woman whose self-esteem has not been impaired. Walster Hatfield, 1965. While you wouldn't want to go out of your way to make someone feel bad about herself, should you become aware that this person has recently had a rejection, you should know you would appear to be more attractive to her than if her self-esteem were in high gear. This law is what is responsible for the good old rebound effect, whereby a person finds herself fast into a relationship right after one ends, usually with someone whom she wouldn't under normal conditions date. Another way to slip in under the radar is to simply approach her when she is with other more attractive people. Studies conclude that when we're around people who we feel are better looking than we are, we tend to feel less confident about ourselves and our appearance. Again, when our own self-esteem is suffering, we tend to view others as more attractive. So when the person is feeling less than good about herself, be flirtatious and friendly. The caveat here is the law of human nature that says people want what they can't have, and they like more what they have to work for. So prevent this law from hurting you by not being too obvious. Be interested and attentive, but not overly so. This is discussed at greater length later in this section when we talk specifically about relationships and getting the upper hand. 6. Reciprocal liking. We touched on this in the previous chapter, but it is included here because this law also impacts on us at a romantic level. Studies have shown that when we find out that someone we like finds us appealing, it actually awakens romantic feelings within us. Again, not only do we like those who like us, but we're also more attracted to those people once we learn that they are attracted to us. This is because an essential aspect of passionate feelings is hope. If the other person has absolutely no interest in you, then you may find her attractive, but not develop a real and intense attraction and desire. Hope paves the way for stronger, more intense romantic feelings. And finding out that someone likes us gives us hope that a relationship is possible and will intensify our feelings toward him or her. Strategy review.
Stayed in the helicopter the whole
Engage in an
time.
activity with this person where emotional arousal is high. The perception of youth increases attraction. Your posture and walking style influence greatly how youthful you appear. Passionate feelings for another can easily develop by simply staring into someone's eyes. Look her directly in the eyes when speaking and listening. We find others more attractive at those times when we feel less confident about ourselves. Approaching her when she feels self-conscious will make you appear more attractive. Once she already likes you,
Yeah, he had to
deepen the
jump
attraction
out.
by letting her know that you are attracted to her. Review the techniques in Chapter 1. Get
he
anyone to
did.
like you
Okay.
every time. Then, once the relationship gets going,
this kid
make
is
sure
a
you
real
follow
good
the
pilot.
techniques in Chapter 5. Get anyone to see you as pure gold to keep the passion strong. But before you do, don't forget, if you haven't already met, you're going to want to make the best first impression possible. So let's go to Chapter 3, How to Make a Fantastic First Impression, which gives you even more psychological techniques to round out your overall strategy. Chapter 3, How to Make a Fantastic First Impression. You never have to worry again about how you're going to come across, because when you apply these psychological secrets, you'll be able to make the very best first impression every time. Whether in personal or professional situations, these secrets will give you the winning edge over your competition.
Damn.
Remember that these techniques and Chapter 1, Get Anyone to Like You Every Time, work in complementary fashion. Review both in order to have all of your psychological weapons in line so you can carefully devise your strategy. The number one tactic for generating a favorable first impression is the easiest to do. Smile.
Damn, we won.
Smiling accomplishes 4 powerful things. It conveys confidence, happiness, and
like 0
enthusiasm,
kills, but
and most
was
important, it
number
shows
9.
acceptance. People who smile are perceived as confident, because when we are nervous or unsure about ourselves or our surroundings, we tend not to smile. Smiling, of course, conveys happiness,
crazy.
and we are drawn to happy people. We simply view them more favorably. Enthusiasm is essential to making a good impression because it's contagious. Your smile shows that you are pleased to be where you are and to meet this person, and he in turn becomes more interested in meeting you. Finally,
Nice to meet you.
smiling conveys acceptance and lets the other person know that you unconditionally accept who he or she is.
All right,
Have you
that's
ever
cool.
wondered why dogs are so lovable? Because they
They
greet
love
us
to
with
smile.
complete acceptance. If you have a tail, then wag it. If you don't, then smile. Of course, there's more to ensuring a good first impression, so let's continue. Regarding first impressions, there is something called the primacy effect. The process whereby our first impression of another person causes us to interpret his or her subsequent behavior in a manner consistent with the first impression. In English, this means that our first impression of someone is so crucial because everything we see and hear afterward gets filtered through our initial opinion.
Yeah,
In
that makes
effect,
sense.
you create an image of the person right when you meet him, and you see his subsequent behaviors through this image. So, if his first impression of you is favorable, then he will tend to be kinder in his future evaluations of you.
What's up? What's up?
The importance of primacy
me
is
in the
so
DMs.
significant that even the order of information that we receive about somebody alters our impression of him. Listen to these 2 lists of words.
Have me join her
A.
live. You gotta hit me up
Cold
first.
person,
We'll talk about it.
industrious, critical, practical, and determined.
Live on
B.
YouTube and Twitch.
Warm
you people
person,
live too.
industrious, critical, practical, and determined. In this study by Harold Kelly, 1950, students who heard the description of an upcoming guest lecturer on List A
2042.
had a harsher perception of him than those who heard from List
Yeah.
B. As you heard, the words are identical except for the first one. Once we hear the
Chill
first
and listen
word,
to
all of the other
philosophy.
qualities are filtered through our initial perception of this person, that he is either warm or cold. Make
How y'all
that
doing
initial
tonight?
moment the very best, and
Hope
the
y'all
rest
had
of
a
your
good
conversation
Friday.
will be filtered through it, thereby creating a
Dang,
highly
we getting new
favorable
maps?
impression.
Not new maps,
Again,
but maps I haven't
that is
played
why
on in a while.
smiling is so important. You can do it right away, and it says so much about you, and all positive. Another factor that can dramatically influence how we are initially perceived is that of accessibility and priming. Simply, it's been clearly demonstrated that the ease with which we can recall certain thoughts and ideas colors our perception. In a study showing just this, Higgins, Rolls, and Jones, 1977, those who had memorized the words reckless, conceited, aloof, and stubborn later formed negative impressions
Oh, I'm
of a
about to say, am
fictitious
I
person.
driving?
They viewed him as arrogant and as a person who needlessly took dangerous chances. However, people who first memorized the words adventurous, self-confident, independent, and persistent later formed positive impressions. Again, this is because these words and their corresponding ideas, what they represent, were in the front of their minds.
Crashing and stuff?
And this colored their perception of a person whom they were introduced to for the very first time.
Well,
Even though these words had nothing to do with the person, these qualities were easily accessible in the people's minds, and they hence unconsciously ascribed those traits to somebody whom they then met. So if you want to make a favorable impression on someone, it would benefit you if that person were to be recently exposed to positive words. If you're a job applicant, your resume should be peppered with positive adjectives. For example, assertive, energetic, decisive, passionate, resourceful. Instead of just saying who you are and what you are capable of, use strong, specific, and positive language to convey precisely your talents and capabilities. Then, when the interviewer meets you, shortly after reading through your resume, these traits are already primed for association with you.
That's a good
For
idea.
another interesting application of the power of language, listen through Chapter 26, The Best Way to Break Bad News. PowerPoint. One of the biggest mistakes criminal defense attorneys make is to put their client on the stand when the details of the crime are still fresh and easily accessible in the minds of jurors. The better tactic is to put a witness or expert on the stand who uses positive and trusting language immediately prior to putting their client on the stand. In personal as well as business situations, you also want to lay the unconscious groundwork before you're introduced. Having a sales associate or your assistant tell your prospect about a recent vacation or a story that uses positive, uplifting language can be quite effective prior to your introduction. For instance, she might incorporate phrases such as, "Beautiful view of this majestic scene. Felt completely at peace and such a sense of calm and security."
What y'all getting into?
This puts these themes directly in the mind of your prospect. Personal situations offer more of a challenge, as introducing a third party isn't always practical. One way to circumvent this is to introduce these words directly yourself in the beginning of the conversation. Even though you don't get the benefit of the primacy effect, you'll recall from Chapter 1, Get Anyone to Like You Every Time, the powerful influencing factor of association. These words will rub off onto you and will be unconsciously associated with you. PowerPoint. Who says you can't get a second chance at a first impression? If you did something incredibly inappropriate or stupid, do not try to defend your behavior. There's only one thing that will work. The phrase, "I feel so embarrassed." Why? Because this one phrase accomplishes three very important things. First, it shows that you know what you did was unacceptable, which means that you're unlikely to do it again.
And this happened to
Second,
me this
it shows
week.
that you're human, and people actually like us more when we acknowledge something stupid and embarrassing and then take responsibility for it.
God spawned me back, and I
Third,
got that
it
kill.
shows complete honesty. And who doesn't want to deal with
That
an
was
honest
sweet.
person?
That was sweet. I got
Strategy review. Smile. Smiling accomplishes four powerful things.
It's funny.
It conveys confidence, happiness,
I was
and
just about to say that
enthusiasm,
happened to me.
and, most important, it shows acceptance. Engage the primacy effect and make that initial moment and the first 5 minutes or so the very best, and the rest of your conversation will be filtered through it, thereby creating a highly favorable impression. The psychological phenomenon of accessibility and priming
didn't know my
can
health was that
dramatically
low.
influence how we are initially perceived. Lay the unconscious groundwork prior,
Hey, he's right about this part. Let's go back like 2 minutes.
beginning of the conversation. Even though you don't get the benefit of the primacy effect, you'll recall from Chapter 1, Get Anyone to Like You Every Time, the powerful influencing factor of association. These words will rub off onto you and will be unconsciously associated with you.
Right?
PowerPoint. Who says you can't get a second chance at a first impression? If you did something incredibly inappropriate or stupid, do not try to defend your behavior. There's only one thing that will work. The phrase, "I feel so embarrassed." Why?
That works.
Because this one phrase accomplishes three very important things. First, it shows that you know what you did was unacceptable, which means that you're unlikely to do it again.
Right.
Second, it shows that you're human, and people actually like us more when we acknowledge something stupid and embarrassing and then take responsibility for it.
Right.
Third, it shows complete honesty. And who doesn't want to deal with an honest person? Strategy review. Smile. Smiling accomplishes 4 powerful things. It conveys confidence, happiness,
Damn, I'm
and
driving the heck out of
enthusiasm,
this tank
and,
right now. Did
most
they upgrade
important,
the tanks
it
or
shows acceptance.
This thing is moving.
Engage the primacy effect and
I'm about
make
to
that
get hit.
initial moment and the first 5 minutes or so the very
Holy.
best, and the rest of your conversation will be filtered through it, thereby creating a highly favorable impression. The
Alright.
psychological phenomenon of accessibility and priming
Holy.
can dramatically
Oh, they shooting
influence
from up
how
there.
we are initially perceived. Lay the unconscious groundwork prior to your meeting.
Couldn't even get to where I wanted in the tank. That's crazy.
Chapter 4.
Oh,
Get the
oh,
instant
enemy right
advantage
here.
in every
Get your ass
relationship.
back. Shot him in the
The
back of that
4
hat.
biggest mistakes and how to avoid
Where's the
them.
thing at?
You hate playing games, I know. But you're playing them anyway.
Fuck.
So you might as well
Oh,
win.
behind me.
Whether it's business or personal, the rules are the same to gain the upper hand in any
They got a
relationship.
spawn point over there. I don't know where it's
When
at, though.
dating, have you wondered why it seems it's the ones that you don't really like, whom you can't seem to get rid of, and the ones you
That's
do
funny.
like, who never seem to stick around? The reason is simple. It's not the person, but the way you behave toward him or her. What determines interest in another human being is a fascinating thing. Most people are actually on the fence at the start of most relationships. This means that almost every time someone
the
can be
helicopter.
swayed toward either liking or disliking you. And he has moved in either direction, either closer or farther, depending on how you relate to
I was
him.
moving for a minute, though.
This is because as human beings,
Oh,
we are
gotta go
forever
get this.
guided and governed by human nature. The bottom line is that it's not the person you're dating,
Oh,
it's
shit.
the things you
Oh,
are
I
doing
didn't know I was gonna
that
be
determine
spawning
his
up
or her
there.
level of
There's
interest.
like 5 of them.
Otherwise, it would be a startling coincidence, if not a statistical improbability, that everyone you liked just happened to not want a commitment, and everyone you weren't that interested in wanted to
Oh,
marry
maybe I
you.
could spot them still.
So if it's not you,
They just
defined
chilling
as
up
your
here.
looks, personality, background, and so on, it must be your behavior toward this person that determines the direction and, ultimately, the outcome of the relationship.
All right, well, let me
This
tag
very
him.
powerful yet simple psychological strategy can be summed up in one sentence. You need to behave with the person you don't like the way you've been behaving with the person you do like,
Come on.
and vice versa. While there are many little aspects of one's behavior, there are 4 main factors, which will now be discussed. Availability.
I'll try to sneak up there.
People want what they can't have. By
Availability.
constantly
People
making
want
yourself
what they can't
available,
have.
you're
All right.
actually diminishing your value. This is not a trick or a game to play,
not
but
a
a
trick.
function of human behavior. Attraction is not a fixed value. This means that what someone thinks about you is determined to a large extent by what you do, not by just who you are or
Okay.
what you look like. The law of scarcity is prevalent and relevant in every area of our
Going
lives,
up.
especially here. That which is plentiful is often underappreciated, and that which is
Right.
rare is held in high
Exactly.
regard and considered valuable. When you are dating someone whom you are not that interested in, you tend to make yourself available when it's convenient for you. And when you're dating someone who you really like, you're consistently available. Do the reverse. This means when you're dating someone you
come
don't like too
on.
much, if you're not
That's
baking
crazy.
cookies for him, calling him twice a day, asking where the relationship is going, and so on, then don't do it with the
Maybe
person
they
you
get
like.
spot I'll beat.
And by the way, when you do this with the ones you don't
This
like,
motherfucker,
they'll be
man.
scared off soon enough, so you've eliminated this problem as well. But wait. In Chapter 1, Get Anyone to Like You Every Time, we said that if you want someone to like you, you want to make yourself available, because this increases liking.
But this is different.
If this is
for
so,
attraction.
doesn't it contradict the law of scarcity? Here's what is often misunderstood. If you want someone to like you, then you do indeed want to be in their company fairly often. This is true, but remember that liking is the foundation for every relationship. That means that once you move past the liking stage, meaning the person is already fond of you, and the relationship unfolds into something more serious, you then want to limit your availability. PowerPoint. Here's a question. Don't we often see good-looking people with attractive partners and vice versa? If attraction has little to do with appearance, then why is this so?
Damn, bro,
It's because we are often most comfortable with those of similar levels of attractiveness. This coincides with studies that show that people are generally friends with those of similar levels of attractiveness. A good-looking person can sometimes make a less attractive person feel uncomfortable. So this less attractive person tends to lose perspective and act differently.
Thank you, bro.
Meaning that
Thank
she
you.
puts
My
the
dog
person
is
on a
beating
pedestal
him
and does
up.
the four things
Go
outlined
here.
in this chapter that she shouldn't be
Go
doing.
here.
But it's the things that she's doing, not her, the physical
Finally, we
person,
got it.
that makes the difference.
Being passed.
This is validated by the fact that sometimes attractive people are with less attractive people. In these relationships, it's likely that the less attractive person feels confident about the relationship and hence behaves differently than their less attractive counterparts. This confidence is replicated here when we apply the four factors to gaining leverage in the relationship. Perspective. In your relationships, you need perspective.
I got it.
In life, when we derive pleasure from only one source, we tend to overemphasize its value and importance. You should find meaning in your life outside of the relationship, so this person doesn't become your whole world. It's important to feel fulfilled in other areas of your life, so you're able to maintain a sensible perspective and not rely on someone else's affection as your sole source of satisfaction and happiness.
No.
When you're dating someone you're not too interested in, you have plenty of perspective because you're not thinking, this is the only person for me. If I don't have him, my world is over. You're thinking, all right, let's see what happens. Maybe he'll grow on me and maybe he won't. And it's precisely that mentality that translates into the best attitude.
Got him. Oh.
And it's this attitude and your corresponding behavior that
I
actually
got
make
shot
you
by a
more
jet.
attractive.
Holy.
Passion.
That's
Here's the
crazy.
crux of how and why relationships work
This
or
one I
fail.
thought I was doing good. I got
Simply,
shot by a
you
jet.
can't appreciate what you take for granted. This is essentially why people, in general, become unhappy in their own lives. They always want more,
that's
but are
funny.
never grateful for what they have. And if you are not grateful for what you have, you will begin to take it for granted.
Right?
And when you do this, you no longer appreciate it. And when you don't appreciate something, it holds no enjoyment for you. The same holds true for relationships. If someone takes you for granted, he or she will not appreciate you and will begin to look for someone else. Similarly, if you went to the doctor and were told that you might lose your hearing, you would probably develop a renewed appreciation for sound. Our gratitude lies in being reminded that we should not take these things for granted.
I
And you
almost
don't
blew up
take
the
for granted
helicopter
what
with
you
that
believe
C4.
can be
How
taken
the
away
heck
from
did
you
that
at
guy
any
get
time.
me? That's
Similarly,
crazy.
if the object of your affections is a bit insecure with the relationship, meaning there is an element
Sheesh.
of doubt, then his or her lack of confidence will not lead
They're
to
literally
arrogance
sitting
and
on top of the
ingratitude.
roof now with a helicopter.
You must create an element of uncertainty, or you will lose the passion that drives the relationship. PowerPoint.
Come
Since it's
on, pick
possible
me
for
up, I
someone
can
to be
blow
taken
the-
away from us at any time, by accident, by illness, why do you have to create more doubt? If
Right?
you're in love, you don't. This is for those who are
This
not
is
yet at that
crazy.
stage, for whom we artificially and temporarily create the same atmosphere of uncertainty. Again, without some doubt, there is the feeling that you will always be there. Then he no longer sees how great you are and loses appreciation for you. He begins to take you for granted and the passion dies. But you, in your relationship, can within a second reignite the passion and turn the relationship around by introducing an element of doubt. Passion is extinguished when there is no doubt, because when there's no doubt, you will be taken for granted. Just as in the previous example of going to the doctor, You never gave your hearing a second thought until you thought that it might not be there. When doubt is introduced into the equation, it changes your perspective. I cannot stress this enough. You will be taken for granted and not appreciated, and the passion will go out of the relationship if all elements of doubt are removed. Unfortunately, when we are insecure about a relationship, we harm it further by being clingier because we need reassurance. But in doing so, you reinforce that you are forever his and remove in his mind any doubt that you might not always be there. And then passion is extinguished. It is a fact of human nature. But now that you understand, you can use it to your advantage. Remember that this and the other factors in this chapter are not ideas or tricks that work sometimes. These are laws that dictate human behavior. If you use them and operate within these parameters, you can succeed at gaining complete leverage in any relationship. But finally, make sure that you don't make the mistake that most do when it comes to how you make them feel. PowerPoint.
How you make them
Why
feel.
can't I have an open, honest, and trusting relationship? You can, of course, but you have to wait until you are in love with each other. And here's why. The previous 3 tactics are ego-based and are designed to get you to this point, but should be discontinued so that you can move on to a mature and lasting relationship. Briefly, love is the absence of ego or the I. And once love takes root, the dynamics of the relationship change so that the more the person is available and the more he does for you, the more you love him. As far as passion goes, you need only introduce some uncertainty should you feel that you are being taken for granted. How you make them feel. A person likes you based on how you make her feel about herself. This doesn't contradict the previous PowerPoint. You should still maintain that behavior regarding your attitude and availability, but you do want to treat the person
I don't
well.
want to be in the back seat.
It is bad advice, though often given, that you don't want to build up someone's confidence and be overly flattering and complimentary, because then she will know that you like her and back off. To a degree, we know this can be true because when someone likes us, while we are flattered, we can find ourselves less interested in that person. This reaction comes courtesy of the rule that says, we want what we can't have and want more of that which we have to work for. Simply, if it falls in our laps, we tend to have less appreciation for it.
Oh,
But
wow.
herein lies the
You didn't even see
crucial
me right
difference
there.
between being attentive and kind versus telling her that she is your entire world and the only person for you. Because, as we
Come on,
talked
man,
about,
kill 'em.
this removes doubt and begins to erode the passion. The former is more objective
God,
and
I
has to
knew it
do
was somebody up
primarily
there,
with her. The latter involves your relationship and invokes the
Burn
rule of
love.
scarcity. Notice the crucial difference between
Oh,
saying
I get
how
the
much you
revive.
like
Holy
this
shit, I'm
person,
about to die
which
again,
makes
though,
you
'cause they
lose
just coming
leverage,
right back down.
and telling her that she is a likable and great person. Merely stating that somebody is terrific makes her feel great. It makes you look great. It's a winning combination because it's only the confident person who tells another how wonderful and terrific she is. And we like confident and secure people. The distinction is often
Nothing?
blurred,
Got
and we
nothing?
end up trying to play it cool and not wanting to show our hand. This accomplishes little and creates a cold and uncomfortable atmosphere. But lavishing this person with objective
Got him.
praise shows you in the best and most confident light and makes her feel great. Again, you want to let her know that you think she's great, but not that she is your whole world and that you can't live without her. The fastest way
God
to lose
damn, why
leverage
he
and
shooting
to
at
lose
me,
someone
man?
that you like is to do the opposite of the
Jeez.
preceding strategy. That means making yourself completely available, having no perspective, removing all doubt, and being uncomplimentary. Do this, and you can be sure that you'll be back dating someone whom you don't like very much. And he'll stick around
We got a
because you'll
beacon
do
over
all
here
the right
somewhere, probably.
things. Strategy review. People want what they can't have, and they want more of what they have to work for. If you are easy to come, then you may be easy to let go. If you have an unbalanced life, you will have a distorted view of the relationship.
What?
Balance gives you perspective.
Balance.
And perspective allows you to make better decisions in the relationship.
Okay, yeah.
When all doubt is removed, the person will take you for granted. Introduce an element of uncertainty to instantly reignite the passion. A person likes you based, in part, on how you make her feel about herself. Make her feel good, and she will feel good about you.
Got your ass, boy. What you doing?
Listen through the tactics in the following chapter to round out your overall strategy.
Teabagging a little bit.
Chapter 5.
Teabagging is still okay.
Get
I can't
anyone
get
to see
canceled
you
for that. I
as
don't think.
pure gold. Number 1 rule of selling yourself in every area of life. Here is one of the greatest truths in life. If you don't place a value on yourself, somebody else will.
Yeah.
How do you get the best deal, the finest advantage, or the greatest edge in anything? Here's how.
How the hell are we
Ask
losing
for the
that? We're
moon
there.
and settle for the stars. In the previous
Holy.
chapter, we talked about gaining leverage in relationships. But when you're in a relationship of any sort, you want to invoke the power of this law to give
Came
you
around the
the
corner, seen
ultimate
him
edge.
too. I was the first person to see him.
Almost everything in life is subjective. This means that there is no absolute truth, and opinions tend to become facts in most new situations. All other information is then filtered through this new belief structure. If you want to give yourself, or anything for that matter, instant worth, you need to create the right image. In negotiations, start off very high, even if it's a little unreasonable. This is important because you will have set the tone.
Medic.
Bear in mind, you also don't want to be ridiculously high because you want to be taken seriously. Whenever you are dealing with someone or something of unknown value, the first one who places a value on it establishes its worth. To be clear, when we speak of the value of a person, we mean the perceived value to others, not,
Holy
of course,
shit,
the
where the heck
individual's
is he
value
at?
as a human being. Therefore, value is an unknown quantity whose perception can be altered with the application of 2 specific psychological principles. Whenever you're dealing with an intangible, establish its worth where you want it. And as long as there is no established value, you will not be seen as unreasonable. Let's say you're an amateur photographer. You take pictures as a hobby, and someone wants to hire you as a freelancer. How much do you charge? Well, some photographers charge as much as $10,000 a day. Are you in their league?
Got him.
Probably not. But if you charge $100 a day, clearly you will not be perceived as one of the best. Will you be laughed at if you say your fee is $3,000 for the day? Not likely. Even if you think they can't afford to pay you that much, you're now negotiating from a very high starting point, one that you've established. In the end, you can charge them much less and they will be elated because they are not getting a $500 a day photographer. No, they're getting a $3,000 a day photographer for a mere $500. Let's take a look at how this law affects us in our daily life. Let's say that you're shopping and you notice a jacket that you think is
They blow 'em
reasonably
up.
priced at
What is that?
$69. You think, okay, not too bad. Then you realize it's
Where'd it go?
$690.
Whatever.
Suddenly, your opinion of the jacket changes dramatically.
Exactly.
You begin to
You're
realize
like, wait,
that
do
what
I
you
don't
thought
even
was
like this
fair
jacket like
quality
that.
is really exquisite tailoring. And you notice every little detail and can now see how it could be so expensive. At $690, you might not buy it. But if it went on sale the next week for $129,